The folder slammed shut like a gunshot. Then came Brandon Sterling's voice, cutting through the boardroom silence like a blade through paper. Eurozone 9. 9 seconds effective immediately. Timothy Walsh is terminated from his position as Chief Technology Officer. I'm Timothy Walsh, 54 years old, and I'd just been fired in front of 14 executives who'd been kissing my ass for the past 8 years. 0:21:21 seconds. The room went dead quiet. You could hear the air conditioning humming in the background. 0:26:26 seconds. Brandon didn't even look at me, just stared at his notes like he was reading the stock prices. 0:31 seconds to him. I wasn't a person who'd built TechCore Industries' entire autonomous AI framework from scratch. I was just an obstacle blocking his modernization initiative. 0:40 seconds. I felt my face get hot, but I didn't give him the satisfaction of losing it. 0:44 seconds. I gathered my papers, stood up, and said one word that seemed to unsettle everyone in that room. Thanks. A couple people shifted uncomfortably in their chairs. 0:54 seconds. They probably thought I was being sarcastic or having some kind of breakdown, but they had no idea what I really meant. One said 1 minute. See, Brandon Sterling was 33, fresh MBA from Wharton, and Daddy's connections had gotten him onto our board. 3 years ago before he talked his way into the coup position. 1:11. 1 minute, 11 seconds. Guy had never written a line of code in his life, but he sure loved throwing around phrases like digital transformation and legacy workforce optimization. 1:21, 1 minute, 21 seconds. Me? I'd been in tech for 27 years. Started as a junior developer in 1996, right when the internet was exploding. 1:28, 1 minute, 28 seconds. I was working at a startup called Dataflow Solutions when the dot-com bubble burst in 2001, watched our funding evaporate overnight. 1:36, 1 minute, 36 seconds. CEO called an all-hands meeting on a Tuesday morning and told us we had 2 weeks before shutdown. That's when I learned my first lesson about corporate survival. 1:46, 1 minute, 46 seconds. Never put all your eggs in someone else's basket. 1:49, 1 minute, 49 seconds. I spent the next year freelancing, picking up contracts, learning that your skills are only as secure as the legal structure protecting them. 1:57, 1 minute, 57 seconds. Made it through the 2008 financial crisis when half the tech companies in Seattle went under. I was at System Tech then, and we lost 70% of our clients in 4 months. 2 minutes, 8 seconds. But I'd been smart, kept my most valuable innovations under separate intellectual property agreements. 2:13. 2 minutes, 13 seconds. When System Tech folded, I walked away with my patents intact and a job offer from TechCore. What Brandon didn't know was that I'd applied those hard-learned lessons here too. 2:23, 2 minutes, 23 seconds. 3 years ago, when our board was cutting budgets and talking about right-sizing, I'd gotten smart. Real smart. I'd moved our core AI patents into a separate entity. 2:33, 2 minutes, 33 seconds. Walsh Tech Solutions. My entity, legal as sunshine, all properly documented, approved by the same board that just watched me get canned. 2:41, 2 minutes, 41 seconds. The AI framework wasn't just some software package. 2:44, 2 minutes, 44 seconds. We're talking about 8 years of deep learning algorithms, neural network architectures, and machine learning models that could optimize supply chains for Fortune 500 companies in real time. 2:54, 2 minutes, 54 seconds, the kind of technology that processes millions of data points per second and makes decisions that save companies tens of millions annually. 3:02, 3 minutes, 2 seconds. When I started building it back in 2015, cloud computing was just hitting its stride. 3:08, 3 minutes, 8 seconds. Most companies were still running legacy systems that couldn't handle modern AI workloads. I designed our framework to bridge that gap. 3:15, 3 minutes, 15 seconds. Containerized microservices that could deploy on any infrastructure with APIs that integrated seamlessly with existing enterprise software. 3:24. 3 minutes, 34 seconds. The core innovation was our autonomous decision-making engine, instead of requiring constant human oversight. Our AI could analyze market trends, 3:33, 3 minutes, 33 seconds. Supplier performance, logistics costs, and demand forecasting to make supply chain adjustments automatically, 3:43 minutes, 40 seconds. Think Amazon's fulfillment system, but available to any company willing to pay for it. 3:45, 3 minutes, 45 seconds by 2023. We were managing supply chains for 28 major corporations, processing over 350 million worth of inventory decisions monthly. 3:55, 3 minutes, 55 seconds. The technology was valued at $420 million on our books, but its revenue potential was easily 4 times that amount. 4 minutes, 3 seconds. Brandon had joined the board 3 years ago, brought in by venture capital firm Sullivan and Associates. His father was a managing partner there, and they'd led our Series C funding round. 4:13, 4 minutes, 13 seconds. Brandon talked a good game about scaling opportunities and market penetration strategies, but it was clear he'd never built anything more complex than a PowerPoint presentation. 4:24, 4 minutes, 24 seconds. The board bought into his vision because he spoke their language: ROI projections, synergy opportunities, competitive advantages. 4:32, 4 minutes, 32 seconds. They didn't understand the technical complexity behind what we'd built. To them, software was software. 4:39, 4 minutes, in 39 seconds. Brandon convinced them that any competent engineering team could maintain and improve the system. That was his first mistake. The warning sign started 8 months ago. 4:48, 4 minutes, 48 seconds. Brandon kept making comments about bringing in fresh blood and modernizing our technical approach. During team meetings, he'd reference legacy workforce and 4:57, 4 minutes, 57 seconds, outdated methodologies. Never directly calling me out, but everyone knew who he was talking about. 5:02. 5 minutes, 2 seconds last month, he announced his innovation initiative, a plan to restructure the engineering department with younger, more agile talent. Translation: 5:12, 5 minutes, 12 seconds. Get rid of the expensive senior engineers and replace them with cheaper recent graduates who'd work 80-hour weeks without questioning his brilliant strategies. 5:25 minutes, 20 seconds after that boardroom humiliation, I sat in my car for about 20 minutes. My phone started buzzing with texts from my team. 5:27, 5 minutes, 27 seconds. Andrew Mitchell, my best senior engineer, wrote, "What the hell just happened? Are we supposed to keep working on the deployment?" Andrew was 26, 5:36, 5 minutes, 36 seconds, MIT graduate, one of the smartest machine learning specialists I'd ever worked with. 5:41, 5 minutes, 41 seconds. I'd hired him straight out of his PhD program and spent 3 years mentoring him on large-scale AI implementation. 5:48, 5 minutes, 48 seconds. Kid could debug neural network architectures in his sleep. 5:52, 5 minutes, 52 seconds. But he'd never dealt with corporate politics before. Patricia Coleman. From finance sent, Timothy, I'm so sorry. This is insane. Patricia had been CFO for 5 years. 6:02, 6 minutes, 2 seconds. Joined us from Microsoft's Azure division. She understood both the technical and business sides of what we were building. 6:09, 6 minutes, 9 seconds. More importantly, she knew exactly how the patent licensing agreements worked because she'd helped structure them. Even my younger brother Jeffrey called. 6:17, 6 minutes, 17 seconds. He runs a startup in Portland, autonomous vehicle navigation systems. Timothy, you okay? This doesn't make sense. Jeffrey was 51, also a tech veteran, 6:27, 6 minutes, 27 seconds. But he'd chosen the entrepreneur route instead of the corporate ladder. His company developed real-time mapping algorithms for self-driving cars. 6:35, 6 minutes, 35 seconds. We'd actually collaborated on some projects, my supply chain optimization. Algorithms helped his company manage their hardware procurement. 6:43, 6 minutes, 43 seconds, the thing that got. To me wasn't the firing. Hell, I'd been laid off before. It was watching my team panic. 6:49, 6 minutes, 49 seconds. These were good engineers, some of the smartest people I'd ever worked with. Andrew wasn't just an employee. He was like the son I'd never had. 6:57, 6 minutes, 57 seconds, carrying forward everything I'd learned about building scalable AI systems. But they all sounded like they thought their careers were over. 7:05, 7 minutes, 5 seconds. I went home to my wife Helen and told her what happened. 7:07, 7 minutes, 7 seconds. We'd been married 24 years, met back. When I was contracting for Boeing and she was finishing her nursing degree. 7:14, 7 minutes, 14 seconds. She'd watched me navigate 3 major career transitions, seen me lose jobs and start over multiple times. She poured me a scotch and said what she always says. 7:24, 7 minutes, 24 seconds. Everything happens for a reason, Timothy. You've got more tricks up your sleeve than they know. She was right, but even I didn't know how right until 3 days later. 7:32, 7 minutes, 32 seconds. Brandon had scheduled a big demo for our investors on Thursday morning, 3 days after my firing. TechCore's autonomous AI framework was supposed to be the star of the show. 7:42, 7 minutes, 42 seconds. Our biggest clients were Fortune 500 companies, and this demo was make or break for our Series D funding round. Sullivan and Associates had flown in from New York. 7:51, 7 minutes, 51 seconds, Sequoia. Capital sent their senior partners from Menlo Park, and Goldman Sachs' tech investment team was sitting front row. 7:59, 7 minutes, 59 seconds. I wasn't there, obviously. But Andrew texted me play-by-play updates from the back of the conference room. 8:05, 8 minutes, 5 seconds, 9:15 a.m. Demo starting, conference room packed. With money, guys. Brandon looks confident. 9:32 a.m. System won't initialize. 8:13, 8 minutes, 13 seconds getting error messages. Tech team scrambling. 9:45 a.m. Brandon looks like he's going to throw up. 8:19, 8 minutes, 19 seconds. Main screen just says license authorization expired. Contact Walsh Tech Solutions. I sat. There in my home office, reading these updates, my coffee getting cold. 8:28, 8 minutes, 28 seconds. The system was doing exactly what I'd designed it to do, protect itself. When I'd moved those patents 3 years ago, I'd built in multiple fail-safes. 8:37, 8 minutes, 37 seconds. The core licensing. Framework required periodic authorization from the patent holder. That's Walsh Tech Solutions, my company. 8:44. 8 minutes, 44 seconds. If the original architect was terminated without proper transition protocols, all licensing would automatically revert back to my entity. 8:52, 8 minutes, 52 seconds. The legal mechanism was buried in subsection 7. 2. One of the intellectual property transfer agreement, the same document. Brandon's board had signed off on during our budget restructuring. 9:03, 9 minutes, 3 seconds. My lawyer, Howard Brooks, had crafted it specifically to protect against hostile takeovers or sudden management changes. 10:20 a.m. Complete meltdown. 9:13, 9 minutes, 13 seconds. Investors. Asking hard questions. Brandon blaming DevOps team. 10:45 a.m. 9:19, 9 minutes, 19 seconds. Someone from Goldman just asked if TechCore actually owns the technology they're trying to demo. Brandon went silent. The beautiful irony wasn't lost on me. 9:29, 9 minutes, 29 seconds. Brandon had fired me for being legacy, workforce, and resistant to innovation. Now the system was proving exactly how legacy I wasn't. 9:38, 9 minutes, 38 seconds. What Brandon didn't realize was that our AI framework wasn't just software sitting on servers. 9:43, 9 minutes, 43 seconds. It was actively managing supply chains for 28 major corporations at that exact moment. Walmart's East Coast distribution network, BMW's parts procurement system. 9:53, 9 minutes, 53 seconds, Costco's inventory optimization algorithms. 9:57, 9 minutes, 57 seconds. When the licensing expired,